Hello and welcome to It'll Be Alright in the 90s, the podcast that rarely troubles the charts, but is always more than happy to dissect the top 40 charts of the 90s when the time comes. I'm your host, Alex Greenwood, and joining me today, as always, is my co-host, Stu Joslin. How are you, Stu?
Hi, mate. Great to be back. We've had a little bit of a recording break, haven't we? So I haven't spoken to you for a while, but it's lovely to be back on the airwaves with you. Always love talking about a random top 40. There's plenty to get into here, and there's plenty outside the top 40 as well that I want to talk about. So I'm really looking forward to this.
Yeah, it's always a lot of fun. And of course, we have Diamond Joe Barter, resident pop expert, coming on to join us for that top 40 in a bit. But
before you carry on, sorry.
Go on.
Talking of charts and our performance in said charts, it's been a while since we've had the 90s Nostalgia Northwest Wiltshire podcast chart mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
How are we going in there?
I'm going to have a look into that and get back to you. I haven't looked at the charts for several months now, so I'll have a look and I'll get back to you for the next record, and I'll give you a full update.
Okay, yeah, we need to get that graph updated in the office, don't we? I mean, I know it's been taken down for the World Cup sweep, to be fair, for all the information for that to go up. And I mean, for us, it's been a shocker. Uzbekistan out, Jordan out.
Yeah, I know. Well, it's what we expected, wasn't it? And I think it's what was planned, really, by the people who were running the sweepstake in the down at the lodge. So
yeah, everybody in the lodge still flying high. No eliminations as yet, I believe.
No, none at all.
As you say, not entirely unexpected.
Before we go any further, today's episode is sponsored by Bush Audio Equipment. So head down to any branch of Dixon's or Tandy and quote the code ALLRIGHT90s to receive a 5% discount on the current range of Bush stereos and portable music players, including their brand new jog-proof portable CD player, which is sure to be a hit when you're running the streets with the beats. So be sure to make the most of this episode's sponsor, Bush Audio Equipment.
I had a beautiful gold jog-proof portable Bush CD player.
Was it truly jog-proof?
Well, it was truly jog-proof until the moment when my dad smashed it on the driveway.
Oh, yes, I remember now, yeah.
Do you remember this?
Yeah. And just to clarify for new listeners, it wasn't in a peak of rage, was it? It was accidental.
No, it was accidental. This is around the time as well. I mean, this is going right back into pod history now. This is around the time that I tried to rig up that portable CD player tray system in the car.
Yeah.
Yeah, which didn't end well for a number of reasons. One of which was my CD player accidentally getting smashed on the drive. So there you go. Bad memories with Bush Audio Equipment. But that is not a reason for any of our listeners not to take advantage of that brilliant offer. So thanks so much to those guys for helping us out tonight.
Time now for the bulletin board. I'm going to get started, actually, Stu. I've got something here from myself. You may have noticed that I've brought a baseball bat into the studio today. Did you notice that? Yeah.
I was wondering about that because you don't seem to have any baseballs with you, so I don't think the intention is actually to go and engage in any sporting activity, is it?
No, you're correct there. I've just finished reading Original Gangsters, The Birth of West Coast Rap by Ben Westhoff. And I've come to the conclusion that the All Right 90s podcast offices could do with taking a leaf out of the Death Row Records book, so to speak. I don't think it's anywhere near enough arbitrary beatings in the office, so that's going to have to change. So I'm proposing non-stop working hours, so we can get podcasts recorded, throughout the night, just whenever they're done, they're done.
Jeff will be a big fan of that.
Oh, yeah. Well, he's driving a lot of this as well.
Yeah.
I think our audio engineer needs to be knocked about every time he cues in the audio track a little bit early or a little bit late. And I also think Jeff needs to start surrounding himself with some genuine gang members for a change. And I think all of those things combined will lead to a much greater output from the podcast. So that's why I've got the baseball bat. It's all part of this new idea that I've come up with.
Okay, yeah, I think so. It'd certainly help our performance in the aforementioned podcast charts, wouldn't it? Mm-hmm. I can't wait then in a few weeks' time to park my car around the corner from the office, come round the corner to be greeted by the sight of Jeff dangling you by your ankles out of the top floor window of the office.
Well, it won't be me. It'll be dangling. It'll be... I'd have thought trying to shake them down for a bit of royalty money that they owe us for those ideas they stole back in the early days.
Those bastards. Yeah, I'm right behind it.
Right, what have you got on the bulletin board?
I've got some dado rail chat if you're interested.
Of course, yeah.
This podcast is now not only the best 90s nostalgia podcast on the airwaves. It's also the best place for all of your dado rail news. And I'm
Yeah.
not sure how we've managed to get into this situation, but here we are. No, just a little thing from Glyn, who listened to the World Cup '98 pod with interest when we discussed dado rails as part of our discussion on what's the most '90s furnishing, and he tells me that the dado rails in the Joslin household are soon to be no more.
Oh,
Next time
blimey.
it, yeah, next time the lounge gets decorated, they're finally going to be retired after 30 years of service. So it's a goodbye to the best dado rails in Corsham. He's also asked me to not make himself and my mother sound so mad every time I mention them on the podcast. But I'm not sure that's going to be as easy.
Okay. Well, we can try a bit harder in that respect. But what's going to happen to the dado rail? Surely they're not just going to be put in a skip. They'll have to be, I don't know, sold on to someone who's looking for a second-hand dado rail.
Well, possibly, or I think they're probably made out of material which is now banned, I would imagine, and they're going to have
Yeah.
to be disposed of safely, like
Yeah.
incinerated or destroyed somehow.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask when it does happen. There's no timeline on this. I will obviously keep everybody informed, but when it does happen, if I may be allowed to keep a section of the dado rail,
Yeah.
just for just for my own memories.
Yeah.
I'd like that because obviously I grew up in that house and that dado rail was an almost constant companion. So I'd like to take a piece of it away just for preservation reasons.
Yeah. Very wise. Will they be redecorating with a separate plain wallpaper at one level and a stripy, garish one at lower level, just without the dado rail? Is it going to be one step at a time, or are they going to go the whole hog and just have one uniform design?
I'd like to think it's still going to be two-tone, just with absolutely nothing to break it up.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. This has to be really good, really neat with the wallpaper.
Yeah, I can't wait to find out how it's going to be. No, unfortunately, I think it will be in the modern mode. I think it all will be one color. But like I said, I will obviously keep you updated on that because that's going to be a big topic of conversation as we go forward, I'm sure.
Absolutely, yeah. God, you'll be telling me they're getting rid of their potpourri next.
Oh no, no, no! God forbid. Do you want something on the 1998 World Cup final as well while we're here?
Yes, please.
Okay, so I've been watching more World Cup classics on ITVX just to fill in the time around the World Cup this year when there isn't any football. Have to
Yeah.
go back and watch old games in order just to scratch the itch. And I watched the entire 1998 World Cup final from the first for the first time since 1998. Couple of things I just wanted to bring up. So I mentioned that it was Brian Moore's last commentary, didn't I, when we did that episode?
Hmm.
And France have won the World Cup. They're going up, but the entire squad is going up. The physios are going up. Obviously, the management team, everybody involved in the dugout is going up to shake hands with the dignitaries and get the medals before Didier Deschamps goes and collects a trophy. And Brian Moore is apoplectic with rage at this. He doesn't see the reason for all the backroom staff to get a medal. He doesn't see the reason for them to have their moment. He just wants the 11 players who finished the game on the pitch to go up, shake hands with the dignitary, the president of France, whoever it was, and collect the World Cup and be done with it. That's all he wants.
Hmm. Well,
Um,
I've got some sympathy with that.
yeah, I can sort of see where he's coming from, really. It can go on a bit. I mean, God knows what the 2026 World Cup presentation's going to be like.
Yeah, I know.
The other thing, rather bizarrely, when Didier Deschamps lifts the trophy, the Star Wars theme is played on the tannoy in the ground, and I'm not entirely sure
That
why
is
that would
weird.
be. The Star Wars theme was also played at a very important juncture in my life, and I've never been able to understand why. But when myself and wife of the pod Beth got married, when we cut the cake, the DJ decided to play the Star Wars theme.
It wasn't the
So
Darth Vader one, was it? Wasn't that?
no, 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 just the general theme. But now that I've seen the World Cup being lifted to the Star Wars theme, I feel a bit better about that. We've
Mm.
always wondered in our sort of quieter moments what was the DJ thinking. But maybe he'd watched France versus Brazil and thought, yeah, that's a good idea. We'll have a bit of that.
That's so weird that he did that without asking you.
We had no consultation whatsoever. Absolutely none.
Blimey. Did he just play something random for your first dance as well?
No, fortunately, we had that right. But when we cut the cake, yeah, I was already a bit pissed, and I thought it was the Superman theme. So I started doing the Superman thing, and everyone was like, "What's he doing?"
Oh man, what a bizarre scene.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I regret it now.
Right, I've got a message here from YouTube of all places, Stu. We do get messages on there, as you know, every once in the blue moon. And I even less regularly check those messages. So I did actually get this one in relatively good time.
This is another thing that's going to happen in the new regime, listeners. We're going to have people checking the messages around the clock
Yeah,
so that no correspondence gets missed.
absolutely. Yeah, yeah.
And if they don't, the old bat's going to come out.
I'd say so. Yeah. And did you hear that Jeff wants to now be known as Shug Jeff? That's his new sort of nickname.
Does that really scan?
Not really, no,
Shug
but
Jeff?
it's the
Jeff
best.
Shug? I don't know.
It's the best he could come up with. Um, so yeah, this is a message from Peter Collins on our YouTube. I think you'll like this, Stu.
Okay.
He says, in an idle moment, I searched for Livingston academicals, and this podcast was the only thing that came up. Great to hear Shaminder, or Pops as we knew him, reminisce. I played for the team for about 10 years and was involved that season, though injured towards the end. We all thought the concept of a TV company coming down to film our games was a wind up, but it turned out to be true. What I remember about Danny Baker is that he always turned up munching a takeaway curry. If anything, Pops underplays the brutality of the East London Sunday League Division 4. At times you feared for your safety. And as Pops says, the referees refused to clamp down on foul play properly. On the communications front, all done by phone, and on many occasions we could only get 8, 9 or 10 players together. I seem to remember a game we won 4-1 on a very windy day on Hackney Marshes, hour 8 against 11. Good Euro trips. Sorry to hear about Phil's poor health. Haven't seen some of those guys in 30 years, but did see Dave Feasy at a park run in Brockwell Park. Blimey, Pop sounds old now, because we all are. What do you think of that, Stu?
That's wonderful. Another member of the Livingston Academicals squad getting in touch. That's absolutely fantastic. So, for those of you who haven't listened to the episode yet, we did that last year with Shamid the Chima from Livingston Academicals, who were featured on the early 90s Danny Baker football series, The Game. That's one of my personal favourite episodes just because I love this series so much, and Shaminder was absolutely great. But that's so good of Pete to get in touch and give us some more memories linked with Livingston and the East London Sunday League at the time. I'm really pleased he's got in touch.
Yeah, it's fantastic, isn't it? Really nice to know that our podcasts are getting out and reaching people who are sort of connected to some of these stories from the 90s.
Definitely. I hope we've sent him a nice response now that we've picked up the message.
Well, I told him we'll be reading out on the pod, so hopefully he's listening to this. So if you are listening, Peter, hello, and yeah, get in touch if you've got any more anecdotes about the league and the series and everything that surrounded it.
Got to try and get to that park run at Brockwell Park. A couple of messages from a friend of the pod, diarist of the pod, Teresa Stenson, around our driving school episode. She first of all says, I'm only as far as the intro correspondence section, but have to let you know that my sister-in-law's comment about the Pleiades and Red Hot Chili Peppers isn't a typo, but it's a lyric from the song Can't Stop. Can I get 2, maybe even 3 of these, coming from space to teach you with the Pleiades? I can't believe I didn't spot that.
Now, fair enough. I think I butchered reading it out because I couldn't pronounce it. I didn't know what the word was, so it's my fault, really.
My super fan credentials are revoked. I apologise to Teresa and I apologise to your sister-in-law. And then also on the subject of the driving school episode, she says she's enthralled by the young guy with blonde curtains roller booting to a payphone to ring his girlfriend. That's peak 90s, and I couldn't agree more.
Yeah, it really is. It really is. And that guy definitely seems like someone who might have appeared in Teresa's diaries from back in the day.
And just to finish off, a couple of things from a friend of the pod, Steve Robbs, who has been clearing out underneath his childhood bed and has sent me a few photos of things that he's found underneath there. Don't worry, these are all safe for work. The first thing he sent me is a picture of a Spice Girls VHS, 1 hour of girl power. So that's very nice indeed. He has sent me a picture of a pristine-looking box for the Jurassic Park Electronic Command Compound. This looks like the must-have toy of Christmas 1993. Absolutely superb, in mint condition. I bet that's worth a few quid.
I know what you're talking about. I can picture it. Really spectacular piece of toy kit from the 90s.
Absolutely wonderful. And then there's a myriad of games consoles and games here. One of the ones that he sent me a picture of is Virtual Bart on the Super Nintendo, which he says is one of the worst video games he's ever played.
Right, that's not Bart Simpson. I assume this is something else.
Yeah, Virtual Bart, as in Bart
Right.
Simpson.
Okay. I've never heard of that. I have to look that up.
Thanks, Steve. If you find anything else under your bed, as long as you think we'll be interested, then do let us know. Before we bring Diamond Joe in, then, time for What's the Most 90s, and this one comes from friend of the pod, diarist of the pod, Teresa Stenson, who wants to ask us what we think the most 90s playground comeback is. Alex, over to you.
Well, there can only be one answer, can there not? It's I know you are, you said you are, but what am I? That's the only thing I could think of, and it's the best thing I could think of. It was certainly something that everyone was saying when I was at I think probably primary and secondary school, maybe less, as you got on through secondary school, people weren't saying it in like year 11, but in the early years. And I don't know if maybe this was invented years before the 90s, but I can't imagine them saying it, in the interwar period or anything like that. It seems quite 90s, quite sort of bratty
Mhm.
American. And it was the go-to. It was the default response to someone insulting you at school. Yeah, it's sort of optional whether you said, but what am I? You could just shorten it to just say, I know you are, you said you are. I never really understood the but what am I thing. I suppose it just led into a cycle where they would repeat what they'd called you. You'd say, I know you are, but you said you are, blah, blah, what am I? And you just go around in circles, which made it slightly more obnoxious. But it was all the rage. It has to be that, doesn't it?
I think so. It's certainly beaten mine into a cocked hat because I've gone with a personal memory which has a story with it. My most 90s playground comeback is, I think you'll find you're mistaken.
Now, that is an interwar response to an insult, isn't it?
And where this comes from is that when I was at primary school, we had part of the playground, and blimey, I can't imagine it's there anymore because it seems extremely dangerous. But part of the concrete playground had two sort of low-ish walls built at either end,
Mhm.
with the idea that they would be goals, and that would be the football pitch area of the playground.
Yeah.
Okay. And then every day at lunchtime, once a week, it was a particular year group's turn to use it. I think it must have been year two onwards, I think, because maybe the really small students were not allowed to partake for their own safety. But anyway, yeah, every day, one day a week, you had your chance. And then there was a bit of a problem when we came back from like half term or the summer holiday or something one year. I was in year four because I was being taught by Mrs. Johnson. Hello, Mrs. Johnson, if you're listening. I saw her in Buckle's Fish and Chip Shop a couple of a couple of months ago, and she was looking really well. I was very pleased to see her. And we turned up on what we thought was our day, and either the year fives or the year sixes were there, and they thought it was their day because they'd been informed that the days had changed.
Mhm.
And there was a bit of a stramish about this, as you can imagine. And when we went back and reported this to Mrs. Johnson, she assured us that we had the correct day, and that if we were challenged on this again, instead of engaging in any name calling or anything like that, all we had to say to the bigger kids was, "I think you'll find you're mistaken about the day that you're supposed to be playing football on." So of course we all took her at her word and went out to employ this. And what do you suppose happened? The bigger kids played football, and we had
Yeah.
to go away somewhere. So yeah, I think you'll find you're mistaken didn't have the desired effect. I just wanted to tell that story. I mean, I know you are, but what am I? A garbage man is definitely the one. It's going in the ledger with that question.
Very gracious, but it's always nice to hear your anecdotes and your personal memories. So, yeah, thank you for bringing that to the table. Time now for the main topic of the episode, which is, of course, the top 40 charts from the UK charts from the week beginning the 13th of February 1994. Clearly, there's nothing on at the cinema because we are joined today, as always, for these chart episodes by legend of the pod, resident pop expert, Diamond Joe Barter. How are you, Joe?
Hello, I'm very well, thank you. My mic just fell over, but I think I've recovered.
It's a great start.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it's. I imagine it's going to start as I mean to go on because, as I was just saying to you off mic, I don't think there's too much to say about this chart. So I hope you've got some good notes. But yeah, I'm good. How are you guys? I don't want to start on a downer.
We're good.
I think there's plenty to discuss here, actually. I think we're going to be okay. There's a few little curios here we can talk about. Before we start, though, Joe, I just wanted to say thank you again on the pod, because I did mention it at the time, but for taking me to the 1996 exhibition at the Barbican Library a few weeks ago. Really enjoyed
we had
that.
a very 90s day, didn't we?
We did.
We went to see Black Box Recorder, who were kind of off of the 90s. We went to the 1996 exhibition.
Mm-hmm.
We went to the Tintin shop. That's quite 90s, the cartoon.
Yeah, and we went to the Super Furry Animals pop-up shop.
We went to the Super Furry supermarket. Yeah, did we do anything else? Lego, I guess we went to the Lego shop. That's quite 90s.
We did. I'd forgotten about the Tintin thing. Did I tell you about the Tintin thing, Alex? Have I mentioned it
No, you
on here?
haven't.
So we went in the little Tintin shop in Covent Garden.
Yeah, it's Covent Garden, I think.
Yeah, yeah. And there was an American guy in there, and there was clearly some sort of deal going down, but we weren't listening, we were just browsing. And then all of a sudden, the shop assistant said, I've just got off the phone with my boss. If you can give us 3 grand in cash now, we'll do it. And the guy was like, yeah, take my money. And there was this massive business
I
deal going
think,
down in the Tintin shop.
yeah, I think she said that comes to £2,800, and that's with £300 or £500 off or something. So
That was
yeah,
it.
the
Sorry,
guy
that
was
was it.
going to
Yeah.
blow. The guy was going to blow £3,300 on, and I think he was just buying like figurines, like sort of models of characters from Tintin. Yeah.
Wow.
We were sort of worried about, but spending a few quid on like a little rocket keyring or something.
Well, anyway, we are of course here to discuss the chart from the 13th of February 1994, which is what the random date generator gave us. Shall I start us off by reading this down from 40 to 31? Okay, new in at number 40 is Wind Beneath My Wings by Bill Tarmey. Down at 39 is Spiritual Love by Urban Species. Down at 38 is It's Alright by E17. Down at 37, Cornflake Girl by Tori Amos. Down at 36, Nervous Breakdown by Carleen Anderson. Again, down at 35, Why? By D-Mob featuring Kathy Dennis. Number 34, from the soundtrack to Carlito's Way, it's I Love Music by Rosella. Down at number 33, Perpetual Dawn by The Orb. Moving down at number 32 is Give It Away by the Mighty Red Hot Chili Peppers. And new in at number 31 is Caffeine Bomb by the Wild Hearts. So,
It's not the strongest 10, is it?
well, I mean, I want to start, if I can, by starting at the bottom with number 40. New entry, the chart in at number 40. Wind Beneath My Wings
Of course
by
you
Bill
do.
Tarmey.
Of course you want to start with this. This is your bread and butter. This is the song that you would want to talk about most out of this whole top 40.
I'd say it's the people's number one. By the people's, I mean Stu.
It must have been cold there in my shadow to never have sunlight on your face. You've been content to let me shine.
Well, Give It Away is in there, but I've promised I'm not going to talk about Give It Away. We did a Chili Peppers episode not so long ago, so we're not going to mention Give It Away here if I can help it. But of course, Bill Tarmey, better known as Jack Duckworth from Coronation Street, who had quite the singing career on the side, as it turns out. This is one of his more successful singles. His singles never really troubled the charts in a big way, but the album that this came from, Time for Love, actually reached number 28 in the UK album charts around this time as well. He released 4 or 5 albums, actually, Bill Tarmey, and this got me thinking. We seem to have undergone a shift from February 1994, and that this is the sort of time when, I don't know, had this been going on beforehand, or was this just the start of soap stars then going on to have music careers? So you got your Bill Tarmeys, but then as time moves on, obviously Martine McCutcheon had a number one. I think Melandra Burrows from Emmerdale had a brief singing career. There was Matthew Marsden, who I think we've spoken about on the pod with Catherine and Dan before, who was in Coronation Street and then started a singing career. Will Mellor, people like that. That used to be the way things were when it came to TV stars having musical careers. Now it's people like Jason Manford and Alexander Armstrong.
Yeah, it's often more like crooning, or I suppose this is crooning actually, so that's not that different. But it's often a Christmas album, isn't it?
Bradley Walsh's Christmas album.
Yeah,
exactly that. So my question to you is: do you prefer the all-round shiny floor Saturday night entertainer having a music career, or do you prefer it how it was when anybody who was in a soap opera for 6 weeks or more could then get their hands on a recording contract?
I mean, neither of them are particularly high on my list of music genres, but I think there's something a bit more down to earth about the soap star doing it. And maybe I'm just looking at it through rose tinted glasses, and it's the more nostalgic choice. But yeah, there's something very innocent about Jack Duckworth singing this song back in 1993, and Sorry, 1994. What year are we doing again? I forgot.
This is the least memorable chart ever.
Yeah, but he wasn't actually the only soap star to do this song, because I noticed it in 1997. Stephen Houghton from London's Burning also did it, and that one reached number 3, so much higher than this.
That's right. He was on top of the pops as well.
I was going to ask if you count Robson and Jerome in the. Are they soap stars, or are they higher class than soap stars?
Was it a soap or was it a drama?
That's a sort of Sunday night drama, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So,
is that a subgenre? A subgenre of the celeb single is the drama actor.
Yeah.
The drama single.
The
lesser seen drama single.
If there are no soap stars doing this now, there's no pipeline for soap star to kind of naff cover of Soppy Song. Who killed it off? Who was the last soap star to attempt like either a pop career or a croon career? I'm picturing Jennifer Ellison from, was she Hollyoaks?
Oh yeah,
yes.
No, she was
noughties.
She was Brookside, wasn't she?
Brookside.
Was it Brookside?
Possibly both.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know. I can proudly say I've never seen any soap. I've never knowingly watched. I've never watched a whole episode of a soap, I don't think.
Well, you missed out on a lot of wanging down holds in the garage in EastEnders, for example. Yeah, this. I don't want to correct you, Stu, on your Jack Duckworth knowledge.
Don't then.
I'm afraid the album. I've actually lost what's his bloody name? Bill Tarmey. Yeah, his album was called A Gift of Love. I think you called it something else, didn't you?
I thought it was called Time for Love.
I've got it. I looked on Discogs, and I thought it was called A Gift of Love. You can currently get it on on there for, actually this is a single. You can get it for 76p on CD or up to £5 for the vinyl. That's for the single. Actually, the album is quite similar. 36 people own the single and 3 people want it on Discogs. So there is a market out there for people who want this single.
There are Bill Tarmey completists out there.
Yeah.
I was going to say, I like the idea that it's in someone's watch list on Discogs, but they've not taken the plunge for like a few pence, or like they're not going to spend a £5.
Waiting for that price to drop below the 76p mark. But the album does have a cover of Everything I Do, brackets I Do It For You on it, which I could not bring myself to listen to. But that's on there as well.
I insist that this episode plays out with that. I insist on it. Otherwise, the baseball bat. I mean, you're the one who's brought this in.
Okay.
Is there also my next question, because I've not done any research here, what is the least likely like soap star, either song or cover? Like, is there like a Bill Tarmey Killing in the Name sort of?
I'm not sure what that actually exists, or
well, yeah, I mean, what is the what's the worst one that exists, and what is
that's easy.
The most outrageous that you can think of?
I think probably the answer to both of that is Hillbilly Rock, Hillbilly Roll by the Woolpackers.
Oh, yeah.
I was going to say it was Pam St. Clement doing People Equal Shit by Slipknot, but I'm not sure if that ever broke the top 40 or not.
Oh, dear. Absolutely fantastic. Okay, what else have we got in this? What else have we got in this first 10 that jumps out to you guys? Anything?
I don't know. I was hoping you, Joe, would have something to say about Cornflake Girl by Tori Amos.
Tori Amos is a bit of a blind spot. I mainly know the popular remix one that was a big hit.
Professional Widow.
Be big. Professional Widow. Yeah, I don't know much about Tori Amos, and I think there's maybe a song, maybe a Trent Reznor co-wrote one on this album. Is it called Under the Pink? That's kind of in my brain somewhere.
It's actually called Time for Love. I think you'll find.
Yeah, Tori Amos feat Bill Tarmey. But yeah, I quite enjoyed Cornflake Girl. I've listened to everything through twice. I put the videos on in a playlist and had them on while I was quote unquote working today. So yeah, I've got a couple of things to say about some videos. Listening to these songs as a 40-song playlist, you kind of notice, because when Stu first said 1994, I was like, oh, quids in, we're going to be like deep in the kind of early Britpop that I like, as opposed to Britpop sort of collapsing in on itself in later on in the 90s. But this is obviously pre, I guess, Blur at their most popular. this is still very much. This still feels very early 90s. Nice to see a lot of women and like women of color, especially. I mean, I like Kathy Dennis, but I didn't know that song that well. The Orb, I like that song. Not my favorite Orb song. When I looked up Perpetual Dawn, there is a newer video for that, but it's like AI generated, so that just made me hate them and hate it.
Yeah.
And then, did you finish with the Wild Hearts? Is that 31?
The Wild Hearts are in at number 31. Yeah.
Because I quite enjoyed that, and that was not a band I was very familiar with. So I did read their wiki page, and I thought I might explore them some more.
Mm-hmm.
Bit of an anomaly, that Wild Heart song, isn't it? Because it's like quite punky, but not much else on this chart is that rocky, really.
No, it's cool that stuff like this. I mean, obviously, Caffeine Bomb at 31, and again, Give It Away at 32, but stuff like that used to get into the top 40. I think Caffeine Bomb was on Top of the Pops as well. I seem to recall it was.
The name kind of rings a bell,
but yeah, it's a really frenetic song.
The description. I don't know if it was on the wiki page or something else I read, that they try and make melodic, but like thrashy music.
Mm-hmm.
I've still got my Bill Tarmey Google search up at the moment, so let's overwrite that.
Did Bill Tarmey kill off grunge? Because this does sort of coincide with the decline of grunge, doesn't it?
Right, that's it. I'll tell you what. Let's call off this top 40. We're going Tarmey pod now.
I did think like we could go deep on Tarmey. Hard rock and melodic pop music. Their influences are as diverse as the Beatles and Metallica. Again, much more diverse than that. So yeah, I might dig a bit deeper with the Wild Hearts.
I want to mention as well, It's Alright by E17. I was quite surprised to see this listed at number 38, but with a peak of 25. Because I had it in my mind that It's Alright was one of their big early hits, but this turns out to be this is a re-entry, so it was got as high as number 3 at the end of 1993.
Okay.
And then it came back into the chart at 25 a few months later. But this is, for my money, this is, apart from Stay Another Day properly, this is the best E17 song. And another one that I can link to that odd Aston Villa VHS that I keep mentioning on this podcast. The one where all the clips are set to different songs.
Yeah.
And It's Alright is the soundtrack to one of those ones, which features Sean Teal getting sent off against Grimsby in an FA Cup tie and his shirt's all ripped. That's a classic clip, that. But I can't listen to E17 now without thinking of Sean Teal.
Well, that's an issue that we all share, I think. This was the 6th single off their Walthamstow album. 6 singles. That's got to be more than half the album.
Mm.
That does. I mean, what I feel like I don't know what I've said on this podcast before because I've been on it so many times now. But yeah, that's watching the 90s Top of the Pops. They do seem to be on it a lot around that time. And I think It's Alright is one of the few songs that is quite burned into my brain from listening to this top 40, where not many of the songs I was familiar with.
That covers 18 months as well. So looking at it, obviously they start with House of Love in August 92. And as you say, it goes all the way to the reissue of It's Alright in February 94. So actually, that's nearly 2 years.
That's crazy, isn't it?
Covered by one album.
I don't think I ever really liked E17. Like, I probably didn't have the capacity to like them when I was a small child. And then as I was older, I remember, obviously, I'm sure we've said before, I remember Stu being a big Take That fan.
Guilty.
I remember Stay Another Day, but yeah, I don't know. I've never sat down and listened to an E17 album. Obviously, we know about the baked potato running over his own head thing, Brian.
Yeah. I think that they were slightly bigger in my household because my brother was really into them. They were probably my brother's first favorite band, I would say. So I did get exposed to quite a lot of their stuff, and I've been listening to it a little bit recently, actually, and really enjoying Around the World. I think that's what it's called. That's my favorite song of theirs. I really like Steam, and they had some good songs. You know, they had a bit of an edge about them. I don't just mean like in their attitude. I mean the music was just something a bit different. So it had a bit of sort of dance music sensibility about it in a way that Take That maybe didn't. and later boy bands didn't.
Yeah, I'm possibly not giving them enough credit. I think Stu recommended the BBC boy bands documentary to me actually, because I watched the girl bands one, having not seen the boy bands one. Went back and watched the boy bands one. And I think they got talked about there, and people were saying similar things to you, Alex. So
Yeah, I think Tony Mortimer was a good songwriter. Is a good
yeah,
songwriter. I think this is a good song. It's all right. I love that intro with the piano. It's really
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, it's really in two
all the
parts,
time.
isn't it? Because you've got the start with the soft piano, then it goes into the high energy pop, and then ends again with the quiet piano at the end. So yeah.
It's alright, it's alright, it's alright, it's really alright, it's alright, it's really alright. Alright, alright, everything's gonna be alright. Alright, alright, everything's gonna be alright. Alright, alright, everything's gonna be alright. Alright.
Okay, then let's move on to the second quarter of this chart, as it were. So at number 30, down, it's Hey Jealousy by Gin Blossoms. New in at 29, it's Can't Wait to Be With You by Jazzy Jeff and Fresh Prince. New at 28, it's Pale Movie by Saint Etienne. Another new entry at 27 with Dirty Dog, it's New Kids on the Block. Down at 26, it's Lover by Joe Roberts. Down at 25, it's Twist and Shout by Shakademus and Pliers. Down at 24, it's Now and Forever by Richard Marx. Down again at 23, it's Anything by Culture Beat. New at 22, it's Waterfall by Atlantic Ocean. And another new entry at 21 for Let's Get Married by The Proclaimers.
Well, Joe, I mean, we have to start at number 28, don't we, with Saint Etienne?
Yeah, love Bob, Pete, and Sarah. And I'm afraid, once again, you shouldn't have booked me for this episode because this is not a Saint Etienne album I'm that familiar with. I think this is, I want to say Tiger Bay, which I really like the first two Saint Etienne albums. And then, yeah, I'm not so much of an expert after that, I'm afraid. But yeah, this was a very pleasant song, listening to it recently. The comments on the Gin Blossoms video were annoying. There's a lot of like, this is real music. You millennials don't understand what real music is, which always annoys me when you see those kind of middle-aged Gen X YouTube comments.
Well, Glyn wasn't one of those, was he? Because he was actually a bit of a Gin Blossoms fan to the extent that he bought the album after this. I remember this being in the house when I was younger. An album called Congratulations, I'm Sorry, which was released in 1996. And the reason for the album title is in quite short order. I think they won an award, maybe for this song or the album preceding it. And then one of the members of the band unfortunately took his own life. In quite sort of short order, those two things happened. So a lot of people would say to them, "Congratulations," and "I'm sorry," and that was where the name of the album came from.
Interesting fact.
But
Yeah,
I really like this song from Gin Blossoms.
I enjoyed this song. Yeah,
me too.
It's the name Gin Blossoms is in my head, but I don't really know why. And again, seeing the Top of the Pops repeats is probably the only place I would have heard these songs. But yeah, I very much enjoyed listening to that recently as well.
Yeah, same here. Gin Blossoms, like you, I think, Joe, was a name that was just in my head. And I thought, oh, hang on, there's a song here by a band that I know, but I've never listened to and had no idea what the genre was at all. But it was a pleasant surprise because I did like it.
Well, tell me, do you think you'd be alright if I could just crash here tonight? You could see I'm no sheep for driving, and anyway, I've got no place to go. It's it might not be that bad. You were the best I'd ever had.
And then yeah, moving on. Guns My Head. Couldn't tell you anything about that DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince song. Don't remember that.
I think it must be the lost Jazzy Jeff and Fresh Prince song because I had not heard it at all before I listened to it in the lead up to this episode.
Although Will Smith does a dance move in the video that I feel like I recognise, but I don't know if that's just one of his signature moves that he does in like a kind of like, walk like an Egyptian across the screen. So I assume he just does that in multiple videos. But I saw it and I thought, does that ring a bell? But
it didn't hang around in the top 40 for long. It was only there for 3 weeks and it never moved above number 29. We got the death throes of New Kids on the Block at number 27. This is their last single before they split up. That they release in their original formation. Yeah, Dirty Dog, which I listened to earlier and I thought was terrible.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
and I
forgettable.
quite like. Obviously, I guess we're maybe all a bit too young for NKOTB, but some of the songs I enjoy. There's obviously a couple of really famous ones, and there was one that's on Top of the Pops that I didn't know before that I really liked. But this, I don't think I've ever heard it for in my life, and I don't think I enjoyed it today. Has anything ever been good when it's spelt dog, DAWG?
No, I don't
That's a
think
very
so.
good question, and I don't think it is. No, no.
Yeah, I'm struggling to think of anything.
Everyone knows the good way to spell dog wrong is DOGG. That
Well, of course,
that
yeah,
way
that
lies
always goes
greatness.
well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I noticed looking at this list now that Twist and Shout by Shakademus and Pliers had been at number one. It peaked at number one, which is
Absolutely.
quite surprising. But yeah, Shakademus and Pliers, another artist or band who I hear the name all the time but don't really know anything by them. But that's just my shortcomings.
Yeah, same here.
Hmm.
Have you heard the horn section song called Shakademus and Pliers? They're
haven't, no.
very catchy. They just sing Shakademus and Pliers over and over again. It's very catchy. So.
24, Now and Forever by Richard Marx. Now, Richard Song has a Marx called Richard Marx has a song called Hazard that I really like, and I had on cassette single when I was young. It's been a staple of my own acoustic set for a long time, but this is terrible. But this is Hazard is a bit of a mystery song. It's not like a love song or anything. It's a mystery. But this is pure Richard Marx. This is him doing what he does best. And yeah, no, I thought it was really dog shit, I have to say. But and there's a bit in the chorus that really sounds like an album track from Be Here Now by Oasis called The Girl with the Dirty Shirt. And I know that Noel Gallagher has obviously been been accused of a lot of plagiarism over the years, but maybe here's one that everyone's missed and I've just discovered for the first time. So yeah, I'll try and do a little side-by-side comparison to put in the episode there, and you can see if I'm right. You let me know if you agree with me.
Well, if you are right, then will you be taking it all the way to the top?
I can't be bothered.
We've got enough legal woes as it is. We don't need to bring any more. So are we saying this chart is just full of every artist's worst song? Because
It certainly seems like it at the moment, doesn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, like Saint Etienne song that Joe doesn't know. There's this Richard Marx song that you don't know. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. The New Kids on the Block song that is their worst song. It's not looking good, is it?
The Fresh Prince song that no one's ever heard.
Yeah.
If we memorize this chart, we could possibly do very well if any of us are over on Pointless.
Yeah, that's true.
Because there's a lot of artists that you know, but yeah, you wouldn't be able to name these songs.
Very true. I've got a couple more things to mention, if that's all right.
Yeah.
Anything by Culture Beat at number 23. Now, I'm going to point this out when it happens at other points during this chart, but this is the first instance of an act having a big song, in this case, Mr. Vane, and then being pressed to produce a follow-up, which sounds exactly the same as the first song. Mm-hmm. So if you listen to anything by Culture Beat, you can sing Mr. Vane over it very, very easily indeed. It fits very nicely. And it does happen a little while later on in the chart. And also, Let's Get Married at number 21 by the Proclaimers. This is awful as well. I mean, it's really, really bad. My cousin, who got married in 2005, and it was one of the first gigs I ever did with a band, was at their evening do. This was her first dance, and I remember her saying afterwards that the song goes on for far too long for it to be a first dance. They were up there for ages. So yeah, the Proclaimers. Can the Proclaimers have a worst song? Are they all of a certain standard?
Yeah, I mean, I could probably name two at a push, and I didn't know they were still going in 1994. Although I think they're still going now, aren't they? They still do live stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I think so. Yeah. I mean, they had that song, didn't they? Sunshine on Leith, not song, sorry, the
Yes.
musical film, and that was relatively recently, wasn't it? So I think they've got a following.
No, it has to be said. I'd like to retract my previous comment. Sunshine on Leith is an excellent song, and it's if you ever hear the Hibs fans singing that in the stadium, it's really spine tingling. So yeah, I'll take that back. I've missed my opportunity, not for a joke, but for a fact this time. But because the top comment on the Culture Beat Anything video on YouTube is from, I think, the official Culture Beat account, saying that
I think it was like Torsten. It said Torsten always wanted the video for this to be Blade Runner inspired, but he never lived to see it come to fruition. And he died in, I think, a car crash in 1993. So I don't know if he'd finished the album. But Culture Beat did continue without him, but it looks like there's quite a few lineup changes looking at their, doing a bit of Googling, looking at the wiki page.
Well, I feel bad now. I apologise for pointing out the shortcomings of anything if poor lad passed away. I really do.
This is the problem with Joe coming in just a couple of steps too late with his facts.
Yeah, I didn't want to interrupt you and with his proclaimers anecdotes.
We'll have to have a look at that because you never know. Horin Fox Duster Bone Steak from Rednecks might have ended up nipping over and joining Culture Beat for a little while.
Yeah. Hello, listeners. Just to let you know, we decided to make this into a two-part episode because we couldn't stop wanging on about all of these songs, and it was getting to become quite a long episode, so we thought, let's just make it into two parts. So this is the end of the first part, and then in a couple of weeks, we will finish off the top 40 with our second part. So thanks for listening to this first part. We hope you enjoyed it, and we will see you again in a couple of weeks.